It's time to have a chat, um, and it's very simple. And I'm talking about. This isn't about Xbox or Sony or Nintendo or you know graphic horror versus gameplay purists. This is a very simple division that most gamers fall into: old school versus new school. Old school gamers are people like myself. We basically played games because they were good. We didn't have the luck of being able to trust periodicals. We had to basically make snap judgments based on gut instincts and hints. Okay. Um, Old school gamers basically were all about the gameplay because that's all we had. The graphics, which we thought were mind blowing at the time, weren't that good compared to what we have now. And that's just the way it was. Now, the important thing is that gameplay was the key. You look at games like for the NES or even the Atari. If the gameplay was good, the game probably didn't even make any real sense. But if the game was fun, we were happy. Now we have people who are really into frames per second and teraflops and rendering and how many pixels per width and length and height. It's a pain in the ass. Gaming used to just be about, is this game fun? Am I going to want to play this game multiple times because I or my parents or whoever bought the game invested a lot of money into this, and is it still going to be a worthwhile investment? That's what we wanted. Um, Things have changed. Now we have RPGs that people are saying, oh well, this RPG it has great graphics. Let me tell you something. If an RPG is telling you how good the graphics are, run, run in the opposite direction, because that's like literally graphics are only 10% of a good RPG experience. Why? Because most RPGs are grounded in the D&D rule universe, okay? Which, graphics are such a small part of that. As a matter of fact, in original D&D, there weren't graphics. You just basically had a good dungeon master. Maybe the rule books had some graphics, but nothing really. Some of the graphics were good, yeah, but you had to use your imagination. It was the story good? Were the characters engaging? How badass could you make your character? What were you doing? Um, you know, so that's why it hurts as an old school gamer to see Square Enix becoming what it's become. I mean, because they went from being one of the premier JRPG people and to being, I mean, literally, it's almost a joke. It's a joke. It's embarrassing. It's like, it's really embarrassing to see what happened with Square Enix. It's embarrassing. I'm shocked. I am absolutely shocked. I am blown away by how just bad it is. But anyway, Square Enix used to be very, very, very good. Not so much anymore. They went from making masterpieces like Chrono Trigger, uh, the original Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, um, Secret of Mana 2, Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 10 2. I mean, my God, it's really gone downhill. They turned Final Fantasy into an MMO. I I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. It seems to not be cool, in my opinion. It seems to not be cool. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, old school versus new school. New school gamers will say, "Well, the game looks great." Looks can be deceiving. Okay, I've seen games that I bought one of the worst games in video gaming history because it looked good to me. It turned out to be a piece of garbage, a real big piece of garbage, but it looked good. I'm talking Shaq Fu. Yes, yes, I have that game. I bought it. Well, I begged my parents to buy it for me, and I still have it. And the game still looks pretty good. Plays like shit, but it looks good. Um, there are tons of games that look good now that play like shit. A lot of new school gamers are hung up on, well, it looks great. It's 1080p, 60 frames per second. I mean, it's nice that a game has those graphical capabilities, but, I mean, if a game isn't fun, if the gameplay isn't compelling, I mean, if it's not something you can come back to years later and still enjoy, what's the use of buying it? I mean, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Let's see. So I'm guessing that it's almost like a gang war. Old school versus new school. Old school, I mean, we're not a dying breed, but a lot of, I mean, new school gamers, you say something to them, they don't know what in the hell where you're coming from. It's like, well, I remember, this is a first person shooter. It's so great. Is it? I mean, they all basically look the same to me. You're a dude running around shooting shit. I mean, yeah, that's so shocking. Yeah. I've never played anything so great. Just a dude running around shooting shit. That's, ooh, great. I mean, I liked Borderlands because even though you were a dude running around shooting stuff, it still was kind of different. I mean, it still felt kind of fresh. It had that RPG mechanic. You level up, put some points into a skill. Um, you know, like, new school NBA 2K. It's so awesome. It's NBA 2K. Yeah, NBA 2K is okay, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. I haven't had as much fun with a basketball game since NBA Jam back in the day on my SNES with my friends. We get we we play 2-player, same team, and destroy the computer. That was fun. I mean, hearing the announcer go, "Boom, shakalaka, baby," it's ain't over till the fat lady sings. He's on fire. I mean, where is that awesomeness? I mean, video game developers have fed this new school shallowness convention. They're like, this is a next gen engine. It's next gen. What does that mean? I mean, in basic terms, it just means that this is the next upgrade for your system. So, the upgrade for the NES was the SNES. That was the next gen for the NES, for the Nintendo family of video game consoles. Okay, the next gen for the SNES was the N64. That was sufficiently next gen. The next gen for the N64 was the GameCube. The next gen for the GameCube was the Wii. The next gen for the Wii is the Wii U. I mean, that's 6 gens right there. Wait, make sure. NES, SNES, 64, GameCube, Wii, Wii U. It's 6 generations. 6 generations. Okay? And, Nintendo's like the oldest console manufacturer, and they've been through quite a bit. I find it a little annoying that these people don't understand what it truly means to be next gen, to be old school. And there's nothing bad about being an old school gamer. There's nothing about expecting a console when it launches to come out and fucking work. I mean, that a system when it comes out should just fucking work. I mean, is that too much to expect? Oh, it's this game. It's well, the patch needs to come out, and once the patch comes out, it'll work. Oh, it's smoking when I plug this in over here. It's not working. Oh. I don't remember that. My first system that I owned was an SNES, and then I went back and I got an NES. And then once I got old enough and I got my first real job in high school, I got my hands on a guy who basically was moving and he couldn't take his video game systems with him, his old video game systems. This was when the PS2 came out. And I said, man, I can take some of those systems off your hands. So I got a lot of, like, I paid him like $100, and I got an Atari 7200. I got a Commodore. I got a Intellivision. I got an NES, a Japanese top loader. Well, not Japanese, but it's a top loader. A top loader NES. I already had an NES that I'd bought earlier, and a PS1. And I was happy as hell. I was ecstatic, and I kept those systems, and they still work. I mean, that's awesome. You've got some shit that still works, like that's older than you are, that still works perfectly. Not a lot of systems can say that now. I have a friend, he went through 3 Xbox 360s. 3. Yeah. Yeah, that's quality right there, Microsoft. Yeah. But I mean, back to the point. I mean, developers really have fostered, and console manufacturers, especially Western console manufacturers and Westernized console manufacturers, have really fostered this bullshit, faux selling point. Oh, this is next gen. This is new. Which is a fallacy. I mean, this is the top of the line, newest shit. You have to get it because it's new. Well, hell, I mean, that's like buying a new car just because it's the next model that came out, even though you haven't paid for the one you have, and it's basically the one you have is only a year or two old. It's in perfectly good working order. You've paid down the car note. You owe not nearly as much as you did before, but you're going to get something new just because the new thing came out. And that makes the person who does that sound stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It makes you sound stupid. Hopefully, as next gen new school gamers begin to become old school gamers, they get a few generations under their belt, they begin to develop the old school sensibilities. Hopefully. If we're lucky, maybe. Probably not. That's the pessimist in me coming out. So, in general, I'm just putting this up there just to clarify where I'm coming from with new school versus old school. This is coming out the day before Thanksgiving. I had a little bit of free time, so I'm posting it. You guys have a happy holiday and stay safe.